Before we really dive into today's topic, guys, I do want to say Thorn and Richard Lewis have their means to be suspicious about Astralis activity due to their history with one another, what they know, and that a lot of people don't know about the organization. And, of course, Nicola, the CEO of Astralis Group as well. I think their means and their bounds to actually be suspicious are certainly justified. They have now made some, I would say, implications of what potentially could be going on behind the scenes when it comes time for Astralis. I will analyze that. Also look at the flip side of the coin and whether or not Astralis and what they've been doing is suspicious or not. I think they do bring to light some great points about this roster, which off the bat, the most primary point I will say, when Astralis first preached this 6-man, 7-man, now potentially 8-man roster, we thought it was going to be an interchangeable thing. It is now very clearly not going to be what we thought, especially with Road to Rio major rules. And of course, when it comes time for the biggest event of the year, this will not be possible to keep on swapping players out. We once thought there could be role specialists or even CTT side specialists with this roster, maybe even a potential 10-man roster for the future of Astralis. It seems that just was really misleading or just not true, as this roster is now only filling in more members so the current members can take breaks. Now, along with this, in their tweet saying this could be some sort of smokescreen, I think Thorn also in his recent video, I'll try and link some stuff down below for all of you guys, saying this is suspicious because when you look at the players they have signed, are they also Astralis caliber? Yes, they are Danes, but you do have to wonder, is S-Tag the level of signing you want? I think you can make an argument for a guy like S-Tag. What about Yugi? When Yugi joined, do you guys really think he was anywhere near Astralis level caliber when it comes to the eras of CSGO? Most recently announced as well, we have Snappy. Do you really think Snappy is of Astralis caliber? I think Thorn shed some light on a pretty good point. Are these guys really what you would think Astralis would be signing, especially if these players are meant to replace Astralis members for a certain period of time? Yes, Snappy will only be in for a couple of events, but still, is he really the caliber you thought they were? Thorn continued on to make other, maybe implications, trying to infer something might be going on. Is this Astralis trying to make themselves look more professional, to boost their IPO, to boost themselves in terms of how people look at this, of course, organization overall in esports, so they can cash out and sell out? You boost up your IPO, you go public, and you make a lot of money that way, and then you just sell out completely, and maybe you leave the scene. Or is this their way of building up these players and these characters underneath the Astralis umbrella so they can then sell them back to other teams like North or like Heroic or like a Fun Plus Phoenix? Is that what they're doing? Are they trying to bring in these players, boost them up? I don't know about that. That's a weird one, right? Because you would think these players, one, they have to play well to be sold off and actually made money off of, and do they also have to win? And can this Astralis roster keep on interchanging these players in and win with a Snappy? Can they win with a Yugi or an S-Tag in July when he actually joins the roster? I don't know about that. I don't know about that suspicion or, speculation. And Thorn, I think his boldest claim was when he thought maybe Astralis would start demanding appearance fees and going to more events because they're players that have already announced their break, Zipex and Glaive, they'll be breaking, but they can bring their other fill-in players with this roster to other events and actually start attending more events because they're fresh and their players are still, on their breaks. And I don't know about that one either. I don't know if Astralis, again, they know things that I don't about the Astralis organization, but I find it very hard to believe that Astralis would be able to demand an appearance fee and somehow play it off as if it's going to be the Astralis era roster we know, and then all of a sudden trick the TO and say, oh yeah, we got these fill-in players instead. That was a pretty bold claim by Thorn, but continuing off of that, I would say probably, again, their strongest claim, one I made several weeks back about this because, luckily, my boy behind the scenes that works with us, that being Pete, pointed out the pay cuts of Astralis. I think the two strongest points that Richard Lewis, Thorn, others are making against the Astralis organization is the front of the 6, 7, 8-man roster being interchangeable when it's actually not. It's a couple players just taking some pretty extenuous or strenuous breaks or extended breaks as well. And then along with that, we have Astralis organization taking pay cuts, demanding some employees take salary cuts of up to 30%, which, by the way, not even all the players agreed to. We don't know which players did not. And then imagine that you as an organization demand some employees take salary cuts, and you go on to add a 6th, 7th, and 8th man to your CSGO rosters while your main players take breaks. You have people taking pay cuts while you're continuing to pay, I would imagine, a sizable salary to new players joining your CSGO roster. That in itself does raise maybe a question mark or maybe an alarm to some people as to what is going on behind the scenes. And then very lastly, we have Thorn calling out the players for maybe potentially fronting with mental or physical strain, or of course, just being tired and of course being burned out. They need a break. He says that's not maybe exactly what is going on. They might be using that as an excuse. Especially during a time in pandemic where travel is down, events are down, and you should be at home, or at least to some certain extent at home more than you were before. And so why are all these players breaking? I would counter that by saying we've also seen Kierby and Olafmeister with similar reasons during the pandemic. During where travel is down, playing should be down, also take these same breaks that Glaive and Zipex did. I think there are a few fair counterpoints to what Thorn and Richard Lewis are trying to say, but also they do raise some question marks as to what exactly is going on behind the scenes with Astralis. And as Thorn does say, the truth will always come out, so we'll see if he is correct or if he is incorrect on some of these presumptions. And even more so, Thorn ends his video with a very, very crazy comparison of what Astralis could be in the future years. And I thought it was actually a pretty fair comparison if they do go down a route where this ends up being something controversial. He painted the picture as Astralis years from now could be painted in the same light that NIP is currently. NIP was once the great. NIP once held the CSGO era, and now today, I would say their name is a bit tainted. And yeah, they just sent me a jersey. I'm not You guys know I'm trying to be upfront with you as well. It doesn't feel good to say this, but I think even they would agree with all of their management accusations over the past couple of years when Fiflaren came out. And along with that, just most recently, with what PETA has been saying to Decay about management, what they have done, and the Lecro kicking, their name has been, in my eyes, tainted, especially from what they once were. And Thorn makes a pretty good comparison. That could be Astralis years from now of what we think of them and over the past 2 years. And even then, it's still been a bit debatable with Blastralis, but they are the greats. And what they do now determines what we think of them later. I'll try and link some stuff down below for all of you guys. I will leave you on one question, and it's the title. Do you think Astralis is being suspicious or not? Until next time, take care, drink your wa, drink your ka. I'll see you guys back here sometime soon.